Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another live stream. So a couple things. First of all, before we get started here, I actually reduced the latency on our live stream a little bit. So hopefully the plan is, I'm going to show my coffee mug here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're only 4 or 5 seconds behind, which is huge because now I'll be able to interact with you guys a little bit better, respond to your comments a little bit quicker. Thank God. Now, there is one caveat, and that is that the quality will be a little bit lower in terms of like stream quality, but if it's not okay, or if it's okay with you guys, I'm gonna keep it like that just for now, and just let me know if the quality is so bad that you'd rather me up the latency. But I think it's looking pretty okay. How's everybody doing today? Pretty good? All right. Awesome. Hello, and welcome to the live stream. All right, so I'm going to wait till this update's perfect. We have no latency, almost no latency. We have about 4 or 5 seconds of latency, which I am okay with. Hello, greetings from the UK. Welcome to the live stream. Now, I'm really happy because I didn't even realize I've seen that setting, but I've never messed with that setting yet. So we're going to wait for people to kind of funnel in here. But for today's live stream, we're kind of just vibing out, creating whatever you guys want to see. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and put my headphones on, get some music rolling here. And we're going to create something really cool. I haven't touched Blender in a few months, so I'm very rusty. You know, that happens, right? But we kind of jump back into it. At least we try to. All right, let's go ahead and put on some tunes here so we have something to listen to while we vibe out in Blender. I'm excited because this is something, we created this last night actually, and this was a fun one. Kind of like a little bit of a throwback, if you will, for just some old tech we were designing. It was pretty fun to do. I was modeling last night and still got some muscle memory. Yeah, it's kind of how it goes, right? All right, let's see if we can... We got some cyberpunk stuff going on here. Let's try this. Is that too loud? How's that? Good? All right, guys, welcome back to the live stream. Excited to start today. Greetings from India. Hello, welcome to the live stream. I need to make a summer scene for a challenge on Discord. Interesting. That's kind of cool. All right. All right, so man, what do we do today, guys, on Blender? What can we do? Pretty much anything we put our mind to. It's up to you guys to decide, though, what is it that we're going to create. Now, in the last episode of our live stream, we actually went ahead and created this Game Boy Advanced SP, which was pretty awesome. Let me turn this music down just a smidge here. There we go. Yeah, so summer scene sounds cool. So we're going to go ahead and vote and see what you guys want to create. Can pretty much be anything. Modeling is always a fun one just because I think we like kind of get into the vibe of it, right? One of the cool things, there's a Pokemon. I just want to look up some Pokemon here real quick. Now, we're not sponsored by this or anything, but I think at one point we did do a live stream, maybe way back, where we actually like modeled a Pokemon, so that was pretty fun. Bulbasaur is cool. This one's fun. I did model this guy once. These guys are always fun. Pokeball, obviously, is always a good choice as well. Someone said yes. Let's see what we got here. Something with geo nodes today? Yeah, we can do something with geometry nodes. Absolutely. You have something in mind? Make a cute robotic character? We can definitely do that. Oh, man. I'll tell you what. I do miss Pokemon, though. Pokemon was a lot of fun. We could make a robotic character with geometry nodes. That could be kind of cool. You barely know anything about nodes. Is that what you guys want to do? Geometry nodes? All right, I'll tell you what. Let's do like a quick vote. Just go back here. Okay, let's do a quick vote in the chat here. I'm gonna go ahead and start a poll. We're gonna do choose. It's just gonna be 2 options. We'll do geometry nodes or modeling. Or you know what? We'll add one more option. Shader nodes. All right, you guys get to decide what it is that you want to learn. Go ahead and vote in the chat below if you can, and then we'll go ahead and get started here. And while you are voting, I'm going to pull up a link, very important link for you guys. There we go. Where is it? Core fundamentals. All right, let those votes come in, guys. Just give them a second here. All right, looks like geometry nodes is taking the cake here. While you guys are waiting too, check out that link. That's our course that we just dropped, which is huge. We just dropped it. So excited about it. All right, for 8 votes, geometry nodes seems to be taking the cake here, so I think we'll be going with geometry nodes. Man, I'll tell you what, there's so much we can create with geometry nodes. I can't even tell you, I can't even begin to tell you like where we could start with it. There's just so much. For example, this is something we created with geometry nodes here. Well, partially with geometry nodes. We created this a couple live streams ago. This is like Suzanne, but with a like kind of like this knitted feel and like these little fuzzes. So this was a fun one right here. Stream's bitrate is lower than recommended. Okay. I feel like, is there latency? Yeah, there's some latency there. All right, live Pokemon with geo nodes. All right, I have an idea. What was the one Pokemon called? Was it Magnemite? Hold on. Was it Magnemite? I forget. Magnemite? Yeah, it was Magnemite. All right, let's see here. This guy, yeah. So I think, just look at this guy. So this guy right here, I guess you could create this with geometry nodes. It's possible. Robotic Pokemon with geometry nodes, bro. All right, so for this dude right here, we could definitely create. We could probably create this with geometry nodes. I'm just thinking through on how to do it. There's a few things that are possible. Certainly a few things that are possible here. I'm just thinking through. All right, let's try it. Let's try it. So we'll do some procedural modeling with geometry nodes. This is definitely going to be a challenge. We'll try it out. This kind of gives us. Oh, first live you've caught of us. Yeah, guys, make sure you subscribe definitely. We're gonna really get into it here. So let's go ahead and pull up geometry nodes. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull up an image up here on the right. I'll just go ahead and select my image editor, and I'm just gonna open up the image reference that I just downloaded, which is this guy. Now we're gonna be creating this entirely in geometry nodes. So this will be interesting. So first thing I'll do, obviously, set up a geometry nodes setup. So we're gonna be using a lot of like join geometries here. This is a good challenge. This is a good challenge because there's a lot of different elements. All right, first things first. Well, we're gonna need a sphere, right? So I'll go ahead and plop that on here. We'll get rid of this. That's kind of our center point right there. I think for this guy, I'm gonna do 30 and 30. I'm gonna shade this guy smooth. All right, there's our sphere, and obviously we can raise this if we want it to be even more detailed. I'm gonna kind of go through the front view here. I say next we create the magnets. So we have the middle, right? Good to go, easy, pretty simple. I'm gonna go ahead and save this as Magnemite. All right, now what we'll do next is, yeah, we can probably stylize it too, yeah. All right, so for the next part, I'm seeing these shapes here and I'm just looking. I think for these, we might be able to create a torus. So let's try this. So this right here, I'm gonna frame this, join in new frame, and I'm gonna rename this and call it head because this is the head of the of our guy here. And then we're going to do a, actually, you know what? I could do, I'm thinking this through before I do anything else because I'm like, there's always a better way to do something. You could start with a circle, a mesh circle. Okay, there's our mesh circle. I'll just show you where it is. So there it is right there. Now I think I might delete half of it and then extrude 2 of the vertices. Hear me out, ready? So we're gonna do delete geometry, okay? And we're gonna delete half, like basically half of it. And I'll just do index, I'll do is greater than, I don't know, like a certain amount. All right, we'll do less than, yeah, let's delete. This is awesome seeing this work. All right, so I just want to show you something. We're gonna bring this up so you can kind of see what's happening. You guys see this circle here? We're deleting the amount of vertices that we want to. So 16 is half of 32, which is our amount of vertices. So now we have that half, right? So now what we can do is we can take, we can basically extrude the pieces that we want to from that to create this like horseshoe shape. So now what we can do is we can say extrude mesh, but then we have to tell it specifically which vertices we want to extrude, because right now it's extruding every single vertice, but we want to extrude only the end, basically like the end points. Now there is endpoint selection, but this is typically for curves, so I don't think it'll work. Nope, it won't. Yep, so it won't work for this. So in this case, we'll do index, and we'll do index is equal to basically whatever we say. There's index of 1 and 0. Now, since this is a new shape, this is index 0. The last one's probably 17. So what I'll do, this is where we're really going to get into it. I'll go ahead and duplicate this. We'll say and we're going to combine two selections. We're going to combine this selection and 17 or 16. Where's the other integer? Okay, we have index is equal to Boolean and see something. Should be both. Should be doing both here. We might have to just do this again. Hold on. Do this here. We'll do the first one. This will be the second one. We just have to identify which vertex it is. All right, perfect. So we have them extruded. Now it's a matter of, okay, which direction do we want these to go? And this becomes the interesting part because I haven't done this directional extrusion before, but we should be able to figure it out. So we have those two shapes. Let me think. I want to extrude it in the Y direction. So you can see this is the offset right here. I think for the offset, we can do a combine X, Y, Z. And let's see if we can do this. Oh, we can. Look at that. Look at that. How beautiful is that? We can do a combine X, Y, Z. And actually, I can just plug this into both of them. And look at that. Now we have our horseshoe shape procedurally. And then, this is the best part here. Now we take this and we extrude our edges, but we want to extrude them inwards. And we can decide, we can also decide which direction to extrude them. So we can say, oh, I want to extrude them this way, right? Or, in my case, I want to extrude them upwards like this. Look, this is all procedural, right? How crazy is this? Now that we've done this, we can then do it one more time. This time we want to do it inwards. So we should be able to do, instead of edges, I think we can do faces. We don't want individual. Now, we do have to fix the normals, though. That's one thing that I thought about that we might need to fix. And then we need to recombine them with themselves. Now, we need to do normals. Let's see. Normal, normalize, set mesh. Set mesh normal. I don't know if this will work or not. No, hold on. Can I reset the normals? Let's see. Normal selection. Oh, I wonder if I can convert, wait a second, before extruding, I wonder if I can convert this to a curve, mesh to curve, and then just give it a profile. I think I can, curve to mesh. This will be huge, and then curve quadrilateral. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, bro. The best way to do it, fill those caps, and now look, we have a horseshoe, and then we just define the width of it and the height. Amazing. And look at that. We just procedurally made the horseshoe. Now we just have to basically say, okay, where do we want this thing to sit? Where's our set position? All right, so our set position, we just basically say where we want this thing to be. In our case, where's our front view? I want it to be zeroed out. I want it to be transformed as well because we're going to want to flip the whole thing. I want to flip it this way and this way. 90 degrees, and then we'll just push it off this direction. And then we can scale the whole thing down however we want with a value if you don't feel like scaling the entire thing down like that. Yep. And then look, boom, there it is right there. Now to duplicate it, we'll simply take this whole group and create two of them. So I'll just group all this crap. Let's see if I can do this. Group, there it is. So this right here, there's going to be two of these. We'll join these together. And then for the second one, I'll just set the position right here. We'll move it on the X right here. And then we just have to flip it. We have to transform the geometry one more time. Dissolve. There we go. We just want to flip it 180. And then we'll just have to move it into place. And there you go. Now, it's a little bit weird with the, let's see. Yeah, we're going to have to adjust a couple of things. So what I want to do is where we are converting to a curve, I want to do resample curve right here. Yep, and now look, we can basically make it a higher density mesh. much better. And if we really want to, we can also bevel this at the end. So we take both of these and we can do a bevel. Now, keep in mind, this is going to look a little weird at first because we're going to actually have to adjust the values of these. So let's go ahead and adjust the values of these. Plug this into all of these guys here. So right now it has no bevel, but we can do 0.001, right? Let's see here. Give it 10 segments. There you go, slight bevel. Now we do only want the outer edge loops. We're gonna have to be really careful. Let's see. We only want the edges. We really want the edge boundary. Let me see if I can do edge boundary. I don't know if this will work or not. Doesn't work, okay. I don't want these inner ones here. We got to be careful. But for the most part, you get the concept of like how we got those shapes. And this is all procedural, right? So if we look, like so far, we haven't modeled a single thing, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to group this. I'm going to join it in a new frame. I'm going to rename the frame. And I'm just going to call this magnets. Okay. And there we go. We have the magnets, we have the head, and we can switch them on and off as we need to. Now, there is one thing I will mention. I think these magnets deserve to be rotated a little bit. For example, this one probably maybe should rotate forward. And this one, maybe we rotate it, I don't know, backwards. Perfect. Now they're rotated a little bit. That might be a little bit too intense. Something like that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I am going to dissolve this node because I don't want to have the bevel. I'm just going to shade these, not shade them smooth, because I want them to be flat for now, and maybe we can bevel them a different way. All right, looking good so far. So we have our Magnemite. Everything's looking great. I'm happy with it so far. Let me go ahead and check the comments. Okay, guys, what are we commenting on here? Buddy, you're getting banned. I'm sorry. I don't know what you're doing in our chat saying all this crazy stuff. Sorry. You're getting removed. Yeah, let's not talk about politics in the chat. We're here to do Blender, guys. Come on. I literally look over for 1 second and you're talking about I'm not even gonna say it because I don't want to say it on this chat. Why do we need a procedural? Because it was a we need procedural because someone challenged me to do it procedurally, so that's what we're doing. Good question. Good question. We're doing it procedurally because it was a challenge. It was a challenge to do it procedurally. Yeah. I don't know what that was. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't see that guy in the chat. All right, we're almost done. We just need a screw, and then we're gonna just move the screw where we want to and kind of position it wherever we want to. So the screw will probably be the hardest part. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and add I don't know, maybe a cylinder here. Let's go ahead and set the position of this guy. We'll just move this guy up so we'll model our screw first. This whole thing will just be the model of the screw. Oopsies. The heck? There we go. Okay, this is going to be the screw. All right, so we have a cylinder. Probably reduce the radius a little bit, the depth, right? Move this guy down. Try our best to match it up as best as we can. I feel like that's pretty close. Side segments, we'll add a few of those. We'll just shade this guy smooth. You know what? We'll do a bevel. We can do a bevel. Actually, we don't actually need to. Hold on, we won't do that yet. All right, for the top. So for the top, we're going to join geometry. And then we're going to add a sphere, and we're going to cut this sphere in half, right? So watch this. We take our sphere, right? We join it in here. Now you can see it's kind of overlapping, so we're going to set the position higher. We're going to reduce the radius. Go to our side view here. We're going to move this down so that it's a little bit bigger than this. Perfect. And then we are going to delete half of it. We'll delete the geometry, so that we only have like the top half, if you will, and then we'll just delete anything below a certain position. So I'll just say separate X, Y, Z, right? And we'll just say this. Anything that is, I guess, below a certain point, maybe below less than 0, we'll delete it. Let's see if that works. Or is it less than 1? Oh, that works. Okay, cool. And then we'll just set the position a little bit lower. Perfect. So now we have that, right? And then we need to fill this bottom face. So how can we fill that? We would need to take the whole thing and fill it, but let me just think about how I would do that first. That's one way. You could do a boolean and cut it like that. That's another way you could do it. I just downloaded Blender. Oh, sorry. I just downloaded Blender. How to model and animate things. I'll show you guys. So the screws, so you're going to be surprised when I show you how this is done. You ready? We want to have a spiral primitive. There's our spiral, right? We want to make the height maybe a little taller. For our end radius and our start radius, we want to link these here. Okay, and then resolution, 32 is fine. Rotations, we want a bunch of rotations. Then we just have to adjust our height and our radius. And we basically can create a custom, let's see. We can create a custom thread right here. Just need to see. I feel like that's perfect. Something like that looks good. And then we'll do curve to mesh. And then I'll just do a curve circle to give it some profile here. And then we need to reduce this to like something small. That looks good. It's actually technically in reverse, like it's going, yeah, let's reverse it. There's literally a reverse button. That's perfect. All right, that looks good. And then we can, you know, adjust this. So we can be like, boom, right, kind of adjust this slightly. It's up to us how we want to do this. That's the best part, is like we have full control over this. And once, I'll just show you something cool. So like we have this whole node group. Let's say we're like, okay, we're ready for 2 more down here. All I have to do is add 2 more and the screws don't change, right? We're just going to continue to join geometry together. We just have to decide on the position of them. So setting the position is super, super important. So like I know that like this next one, I want to move it out here, right? Now look, you can kind of see our spring is a little tall. So let's reduce that height, right? Let's reduce the height. Let's set the position of the screw so that it's higher. And we don't need as many rotations. That's fine. And now I go back out of my node group. And now I can decide to transform this geometry because I know that I don't want it right there. I know that I want to transform the geometry. We'll dissolve this. And I want to flip it on the X. So I'll rotate it this way. Right, bring it up. And I can just kind of position this however I want to, right? Now, obviously, we're going to have to work on the modeling a little bit, but you guys get the concept. And then you just translate it wherever you want to. And we can rotate it. Let's try to do this. Yeah, I feel like that looks okay. So it looks like we're going to have to also maybe reduce the actual overall size of this thing. That's actually really easy. All we have to do is go to transform geometry right here, get a value node, and we can, since we did all this work, like I don't feel like adjusting every single value. So I can simply go here and I can do maybe 0.8 of the original size and just move it up a little bit, right? And then we can decide what else we want to do. So our sphere at the top probably could be a little bit larger. There we go. That looks a little bit better. And then we're also going to want to cut into it as well. Let's get that 3rd screw and then we should be good to go. Now for the 3rd screw, I'm going to do the exact same thing I did over here, except this time I want to rotate it the opposite way. And I want to bring it up just like that and bring it inwards. Looking good. Just got to bring it inwards a little bit more, bring it up. Now, yes, there is a way to probably just duplicate it and reverse the scale, but this is fine. Starting to come along. For just being procedural, it's not terrible. Now we can come in here and refine the screw more. So here's what's cool. At the top, we have, right now we have a, like the bolt, but we want to cut into the bolt. That bolt is right here. So let me bring this up. This is the top. So we want to do a mesh boolean. Okay, I'm going to show you something. We're going to do a join geometry too, and I'll show you why this is going to make sense because I want to view the cube first. So we have a cube. We're going to set the position of the cube. I'm going to bring it up. There's our cube. We want to scale the cube down with a value node. Okay. And then what I want to do, actually, I want to do it like this. I want to go ahead and do something like this. Okay. This is going to give us one cube, and then we'll simply duplicate that cube and just rotate it. So we have our cube, we've set the position. Now I'm going to take this, make a subgroup, take that cube, I'm going to transform the geometry. Transform geometry. I'm going to join it. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. And now we have this right here, right? Now you'll probably notice, well, obviously it's not cutting into anything. So instead of joining the geometry, we're going to do this. Join geometry, boom. These are our two cubes. And then we take this and we cut into our shape here. We rejoin. So here's the top of the screw. And if we did everything right, we can cut into it using exact. Oh, so close. We might need a few more cuts in our cube. Let's do 5, 5, 5. Doesn't want to cut. It's close. It's close. Oh, you know what I might need to do? A merge by distance. See if I can do a merge by distance. Oh, so close. Why doesn't it want to work for me? It's like, it's funny. It like kind of wants to work, but it doesn't. And I don't know why. It might be, oh, you know why? It's because our sphere, we need to, I know why. I know why. We need to cut our sphere after we do the mesh boolean. So what I'll do is I'll do this. I will dissolve. I think this is why. Let's see if I was correct or not. No, I was not correct. Darn. I really thought that was going to work. Let me try float again. Could try manifold. Usually that doesn't work yet. It's not going to work. It's so close. It's so close. Now, obviously, I would just model this. Me personally, I would just model it, but I wanted to take the challenge on. And I think we did pretty good because we learned a lot. Like, I feel like we learned a lot. All geometry nodes, completely procedural, which is pretty cool. The math makes sense. For making complex things, it gets tough, but I think it's just formulas. I'm practicing Blender for 2 years, and this guy is shocking me casually. It's so easy. Well, okay, so the reason you might be shocked is because, one, I've been using Blender for 5 years, so I'm pretty experienced, but also I've been using geometry nodes for a while. I was initially so scared of it, and then I hopped into it, and I learned all this stuff, and I honestly couldn't be happier that I did go about learning this. So yeah, so the initial node group for the magnets was this. These are the magnets right here. And what was cool about the magnets, I want to show you guys, is we can actually take these extrusions. Check it out. We can make the magnets longer using math. See? I can make the magnets shorter or longer. All we're doing is we're targeting specific indices of a mesh. We're saying, I want to take these, I want to extrude them. Which way do I want to extrude them? I want to use a combine XYZ and decide the exact axis that I want to extrude. So right now, these are the kind of cool things you can do with geometry nodes. Now, if you genuinely are really, really interested in geometry nodes, I would check out the thing I just posted in the chat. We were working really hard on this over the past probably couple of months here, and this was all part of our core fundamentals of Blender. Now, obviously, this isn't perfect, right? It was made entirely with geometry nodes, which is pretty cool. So you can imagine with a little more attention to detail, we could get this pretty darn good, right? So I was like, I don't know, I'm pretty happy with like our result, right? Can you make a sewing machine? You mean you learned a lot? I mean, I did learn a lot. I did. Because the sphere is not filled. Let me see something. I think that is why. I'm a little annoyed that this boolean didn't work. But you know what? For geometry nodes, we didn't do that bad. It's like programming, yeah. So like do you guys want to see another example? Drop a comment in the chat. Let me know if you want to learn more about geometry nodes, because it is pretty fun. Like there's a lot that we can do with it. So if you guys really genuinely want to learn more, I can teach you more. I can teach you like the simple stuff I know that allows us to get like really, really quick results, like without really trying too hard. That's so impressive. If you show it to someone, let them laugh. Oh, you want? Oh, you're saying they'll laugh if they don't know that it was made by nodes. Yeah. So yeah, so okay, so we have this cube, right? Let me just show you like how this works, because this is really, if you want to do procedural modeling, you really only need to do some things. So right now, when you extrude the mesh, this is just one node. It's going to extrude every single face. You can see we can select the thing we want to extrude. Do we want to extrude the vertices? Now it's taking all of the, what is it, 8 vertices? I thought there was more than that. No, 8 vertices. It's extruding them all. You decide by how much. Or you can take the edges, extrude them, right? Or you can take the faces and extrude those. But each face, vertice, and edge all has its own indice that tells you basically which one it is. So if I say index, oops. If I say index right here, and I just want to say, okay, index is equal to what? Well, what's the index equal to? Well, if we start with 0, we will get the index on the left. If we start with 1, we get that one. If we start with 2, right, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if you go past 6, or sorry, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, there should be, oh, it goes 0 to 5 because there's 6 total, but you always start at 0. If you go to 6, nothing's going to get extruded because there is no index of 6. It just doesn't exist. So, we're still talking about the bolt. Yeah, I could do that. That could work. Without geometry nodes, when do we make stuff in geometry working on a blind background for us? What do you mean? Can we do simulation with geometry nodes? We can do a simulation with geometry nodes. Allow me to show you. We're not going to save this, though, because we don't really need to. So if you have a cube, just for example, I'm going to show you like the most basic simulation we can do. It's really actually not that basic, but I'm going to add a grid. Okay, now a grid is just a plane. Pretty simple. And we're going to do a quick cloth simulation because it's so much fun. Now, this is basically it's a plane that we decide how big the plane is. And we also decide with a value node or whatever we want. We decide, actually, you know what? I'm going to use an integer instead because you cannot have a like decimal place amount of vertices. We decide how dense this mesh is with our integer driving the grid. So this is like the amount that it's subdivided. And now what we're going to do is add a cloth dynamics. Now when we press play, this thing's just going to fall, which is good because that's exactly what we want it to do. All right. I think I got it. Maybe join geometry, merge by dist. I promise we'll probably revisit that project eventually, but right now I'm gonna move on to our physics. Okay. So we have cloth dynamics, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add in a sphere for this to collide with. Add in a UV sphere. I'll go ahead and turn this into a collider. Now you don't have to do this in the same node group, but it's cool that we can. And I'll plug this into the effectors. And then I'll also make sure that we can see it by using join geometry. Because right now we can't actually see this sphere. Now we can. And I realize it's already intersecting with our plane. So I'm actually going to bring it down. Set position. There we go. So now this will determine where the sphere is. I want it to be right here. If we press play, now we have a cloth simulation, which is pretty cool. And it really is that simple. So this is all procedural. This is, I don't think people truly realize how powerful this is. We have a procedural simulation using pretty much real real physics, more or less, using geometry nodes. It's pretty cool. Because let me show you why this is so cool. We have this mesh now, but we can do whatever we want. We can convert it to a curve. So I could say mesh to, oh my gosh, mesh to curve right here. There we go. And now this is a curve. And maybe I want to do this. Maybe I want to say, okay, we have a mesh to curve. That's pretty cool. Maybe I want to do a curve to mesh. Oopsies. I didn't want to, it was trying to replace the nodes. So we want to do a curve to mesh, but we don't want a curved circle, or maybe we do. We can do a quadrilateral. So now we can give this curve a profile. Ready for this? Look at that. And now we can control, look at that. All procedural. All procedural. Now that's cool. And there's a lot that you can do with this, right? This is like really only the beginning. And guess what? I can go in here and say, you know what? It's not high quality enough. I want it to be even more high quality. So we go back to the start. Oh, man. And now you have this thing that's like, oh wait, wow, that's pretty cool. We can do that, right? And then you're like, oh, maybe I want like a knitted fabric. Well, you can also do that too, right? But now you have this really cool mesh simulation that was made using Blender and geometry nodes. And I can go in here and I can say, you know what? I want it to be thinner. And now it's thinner. And look, you can even change this. Change this to, how about, what's a kite? I don't think I've seen kite before. Okay, it's some other mesh, but how cool is that you can do that? It's pretty cool. You can also, I believe, let's see, we can also, like, you could merge by distance here, but you really wouldn't want to. But you could create something really interesting. Like, you could technically create an aerodynamic simulation with that. We don't have self-collisions. That's the big downside to it. It's a shame because self-collisions is great. But if you want to smooth this out even further, you can do a subdivision surface on this as well. And now look, you can shade smooth. Now you have a really smooth cloth simulation. If you want to add some thickness, you can do that as well. Extrude mesh. Not individually. We want to do like just ever so slightly. There we go. So now we have a mesh with some actual thickness. How awesome is that? It's pretty cool, I think. I mean, the fact that we have simulation physics, like, and it only takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 nodes. That's it. 10 nodes and you get this. That's incredible. Now, if you genuinely, really want to learn more about this, I highly suggest the fundamentals of Blender. Now I teach actual physics. This right here is all geometry nodes based physics, which is pretty cool. But if you want to learn like real physics, like fundamental physics of Blender, you can check out that link that I just put in there. You can also buy each individual course. You don't have to just buy the whole bundle. So if you want to buy just my physics course, you can do that. And you can learn a whole lot more than just this. This is a fun one though. Man, I love watching this. I just love watching this. All right, guys, comment in the chat below. Let us know, what is it that you want to see next? We've gone over some geometry node stuff, and it has been pretty fun, but I think there's even more that we can learn in Blender. Let us know what you think. You know what? I'm gonna put a quick poll. I'm gonna put a quick poll. Someone really wants a turtle. A running shoe for modeling? Okay. All right, I'm going to say, what should we make next? I'm going to put a funny one in there. I'm going to give you guys a chance to hate. Here we go. Ready? You're a real Earth? Geometry node set up for a simple sofa so you can change from a 2-seater to a 3-seater and so on. That's a cool concept. What about a turtle eating a cookie? Let me write these ideas down so I don't forget them. Hold on. I'll write the ideas down, but you guys can still vote. Yo, why did 7% of you say that I'm awful at Blender? That's not fun. What the heck? Make a geometry node spider that moves. That's a good challenge. I like that challenge. That could be interesting. A snow and a sphere. Whenever the sphere moves on the snow, it reacts like when someone walks on the snow. Okay, that would be dynamic paint. Because I already know like what I would use to create that. That's a good question though. Conversation piece chair. Tricky. It's got a tricky leg. How do you model them? Is there a specific chair you had in mind? Conversation piece chair. Water simulation using geometry nodes. Oh boy. All right, keep them coming, guys. It looks like most people really want geometry nodes. I kind of like the spider idea, but we'll do the sofa one first, and then we can do spider idea. Tornado destroying a skyscraper. Why can't I type? There we go. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. I think we got some really good ideas. I think we start with the sofa, and then we'll do the spider one. Okay, these are some great ideas, guys. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, let's do the sofa one first, and then we'll do the spider one. So for a sofa, I'll just make a new setup. The first thing I'm thinking is we're going to need a base to the sofa and a back. And then we're going to need, like, the amount of... We're going to need the amount of, like, seats. So, okay, so hear me out. I think this is how this is going to work. We will take a mesh line, okay? Now, the mesh line should be traveling in the Y or the X. So there's our mesh line. And I believe if we go into mesh to points, we can see how many points we have. Awesome. So I don't know if you guys can see these or not. We do have points. Why isn't it not letting me see the amount of points? What the heck? All right, let's do a curve line. Because then we can do resample curve. And then we can do curve to points. Don't worry, guys. There's a method to my madness. Just trust. All right, here we go. So we have this. This is the resample curve. Curve to points. We can do count. Now we can adjust how many are right here. Perfect. So if we wanted like a 3-seater, we would have that. And then what I would do is I'd probably instance on those points, all right? And I would just instance a cube. This is just an example, right? This is a really, really quick example. Now for our cubes, we want to have these more separated, so I'll choose a better endpoint. So now, like, let's just pretend like these are our cushions, right? Maybe they're like this, maybe they're beveled. I'm just going to show you guys like a really easy example of what this could look like, right? Maybe these are the cushions right here. You can adjust, obviously, the size of the cushions or the size of the couch right here. So boom, we got that, right? Now here's what's cool, right? We can actually take this and we can say bounding box. Hold up. There we go. We can say this, we can do that. So we have our instances and we also have our bounding box. Now our bounding box, we want to realize these instances first, should take up the whole thing, right? And then we can say, okay, I want that to be the base of the sofa. Right? So now there's the base of the sofa. Makes sense? We can also scale this. Or we'll do transform. Transform geometry is an OG, like such a great thing. There we go. So here's the base of our sofa, right? Now let's test it. If we increase the count, we should get more. Awesome. If we increase the width, look, notice how it adjusts automatically for us for the size of the sofa. And maybe I want one more couch cushion. I'd bring this in a little bit. It's a little bit manual, but like this is how I would go about it. Because now we can take these, we can stretch them out, and we have like the actual sofa. But wait a second, there's no back to the sofa. So when I sit down, nothing's going to happen. Don't worry, guys. I got this. We just simply take the exact same thing right here. We reroute it, and we got to reroute it and basically just transform it. So we'll go ahead and transform it. We'll rejoin everything back together. I'm just going to go ahead and move this up. I'm going to rotate it on the X 90. Go to our side view here. And I'm just going to kind of position it where I think I want it. I want it here. I want it down. And there you go. There's the back to the sofa. And then what you could do is you could take each vertice on the bottom of this bounding box, extrude it out, or take each vertice, duplicate it, and then you could instance a leg on each vertice. This is just an example, right? This is an example. So I feel like this is how I would go about doing it. But again, there's so much you could do. Obviously, you would want cushions on the top too. But what's really cool about this is that now it like adjusts, right? This adjusts. Now, if you wanted these pieces to adjust as well, you would need to do, I think you could do an accumulation field, I believe. Or you could tie this, let's see if we can do it this way. Combine XYZ. You might be able to tie this to here, right? And then I wonder if you can do a value node here, right? We'll do 3. And then you take that and you somehow adjust the, let's see, we'll do 1, 1. I wonder if you can adjust the size of it here. We'll do divide. See something. I wonder if this will work. Oh, it does work. So now it's really procedural, because now we're taking the overall we're taking the where is it? The line that we originally generated. We're using math to say, okay, every time I adjust that line, adjust the cushion sizes as well. Pretty cool, huh? So now it's like really, really procedural. And then if you wanted to, you could take those same instances right here. You could reroute them. Okay, and then what you could do is you could say translate instances. You can move them up, and then you could rotate the instances 90 degrees this way, right? You could also technically transform, or you could scale the instances as well. You could just scale them on the Z or Y. Technically, it's the Y now. And then you just push them back to wherever you want them. So now you have like the count. I mean, this is really, really, really rudimentary, but you get the idea. So we basically have like a procedural couch. Now the tough part is, okay, if we go over here and we adjust the count to 3, these don't adjust. So now you'd have to figure out, okay, if I need to adjust it, I need to do more math. But this gives you like the basic idea of like how you might go about doing something like this. So I hope that helps. Now it is time to do a spider in geometry nodes and make it move. This is gonna be crazy. Do the same thing on the line, stretch to a point, and then they reset, more piles are added. Yes, that's possible. Hey, many people are doing cool things in Blender. Thank you. Yeah, no, guys, make sure you're definitely subscribed. I'll save this as, I don't know, couch or something. Oopsies. Couch.blend. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and set up a new geometry node setup. So I'm going to go into geometry nodes. Now, I guess we got to make a spider. So I think I'll start with a sphere. All right. Is anybody opposed to seeing a spider on a live stream? If so, now's the time to leave, because we're going to make a spider. All right, so we have a sphere. This is going to be like the base of the spider, like the central part of the spider. Now for the legs, I'm thinking we do like, let me think about this first. Probably curves or something where it's like what's going to have to be on both sides, and these pieces are going to have to move. This will be a tough one. I've never done anything like this, so I'm going to try it. Wow, modeling actually won the poll. I just bought the new Core 5.2 on SuperHive. Really cool course. Thank you so much. Nothing is null. What did you start with? Is there any specific area you started with in Core? Geometry nodes don't scare you, but spiders do. Yeah, I'm curious, which part did you start with on Core? That's really awesome. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. Well, first of all, we're going to have to join some geometry. I want to have a mesh line. I want to do a curve line. Just want to see if we can do this, because it's all about the pivot points. Oh my God, if I can, brother, there we go. Okay, so we have our curve line. There it is right there. I'm wondering if I transform this geometry and I rotate it, does it rotate about the axis correctly? Yes, it does. Okay, so this could be like a leg, for example, right? Maybe we have a leg on a 45 here. That's one leg. Ooh, this is going to be tough, because we're going to need to have 1, 2, 3. How many? Is 8 legs, right? Spiders have 8 legs. I don't even remember. Try to make the legs stick to the ground. Actually, we can do that. We can do that. It's going to be tough, but we can do that. All right, so for the curve line, because I want to be able to visualize this, I'm going to do curve to mesh. And I'm going to do a curve circle. Okay. All right, so there's our first leg. Now we need the leg to go up and then extend down, right? So it needs to be, kind of have to look up. I'm just going to look up robot spider. Just want to see something here. Let me look at, interesting. So there's go. Okay. So I guess the goal is like, if we can make one leg affect, okay, so it goes up, down, and then in. So there's really 3 parts to it. So we're almost creating like an armature. Ooh, this is gonna be an interesting one, because I'm almost like, okay, we have to take the end point of this curve line. Here, let's do it without, let's do it like this first. We have to basically take the end point of this and then like make another line off of that. So I want to do extrude mesh. I don't think we can do, oh, I wish there was an extrude mesh for curves. I guess I'll just do a mesh line. We can always convert this back into a curve if we need to. That's fine. Let's do that, and then we'll do extrude mesh, and I want to extrude a vertice, but the vertice I want to do is like the end vertice, so I'll just do index equal to, and then I got to decide what is the index I want to do. Also, I want to do a geometry switch on this so I can see like what I'm doing. Hold on. This is a really good challenge, and I really like it. It's going to be a tough one. All right, so now we got to decide, all right, which part do we want to extrude? Oh, and obviously which direction. I need to combine X, Y, Z. There we go. Now we can see the leg. So now we got to say, there it is. All right, so now we say which direction we want to extrude it. Oh, buddy. Look, now we got the first part of the spider leg. Now here's the question. Can we now take like this part? Can we separate these parts? I almost wonder if we can. I guess we would have to do one and then the other. I'm trying to think this through. Oh man, this is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be an interesting one, because it's like, how many legs do we do, and how complex do we make this? Model a cute, simple character like Vodafone Zuzu, but do not copy the character. It's going to be a fun one to make it procedural. Yeah, oh, you started with the lights. That's awesome. Jonathan Lampale's 3D modeling course in Core V1, so I didn't feel the need to go through that again. Yeah, man, there's so much you can know about modeling, though. All right, anyway, so we've extruded the mesh, but you know what's funny? I actually don't think I want to do that. I think I want to separate geometry, and I want to separate a point, and that's the point I want to separate. There it is. There's the point. And then I'll rejoin. Hold on. This is good. This is good. I'll rejoin the original geometry right here. So now I have, you can't tell, but this right here is a point. Now what I'll do is I'll do this. We can now extrude this vertice any direction we want. In this case, I could extrude it like this. And now, if I, just to make sure they're separate things, if I want to, I can move this. Yes, so the leg is now separate. Perfect. Now, the real question is, can I rotate it? And in which direction will it rotate when I rotate it? I can't tell, like, where is the axis of rotation? Oh, let me think about this for a second. We extruded the mesh. The original origin. Oh, this is an interesting one. Where's the origin of the mesh? I'm probably thinking way too hard about this. Hold on. It's funny because like we're almost trying to create like, I guess like inverse kinematics for one leg. But I'm thinking, okay, extruded the mesh. I want to rotate the mesh. Hold on. Interesting. I wonder if I rotate this guy. Oh, wait. Hold on. It does move with it. Okay. Just discovered your live videos. Wanted to thank you because of how useful they are. I'll be looking forward to more. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. This is cool. What the heck? I didn't realize it was going to rotate with it. That's awesome. Now it's like, okay, we've separated that. Can we do it again with this one? Oh, Lord, this is going to get... Let me make some room here. Make some room. All right, now we have this. can we do it again? And then join it right here. That's fine. I don't care if we want to do it again. Can I separate geometry but also do this? And then the selection, I want it to go right here. So what is the selection, you ask? Let me also set the position so I know it's a little bit offset. The selection, we just want the end point. So it needs to be index equal to what? Why isn't it working? Should be index. It's weird, I can't see it. Oh, here it is. Okay, what index is it though? Oh, it is going to be index 1. Okay, and for the offset, I don't want an offset, but now we can extrude it with this, and we can say, I want it to go this direction. All right, let's see if this works. I'm so nervous to see if this works. All right, there's our leg. Now when I rotate it, oh my gosh, it actually is like partially working. Are you guys seeing this? So now when I rotate it, oopsies. Bruh. So now I can control that. Oh crap, I should probably save this. Spider geonodes.blend. My God, that whole time I didn't save, bro. Oh. Okay, we have one leg working. We have one leg working. Now I have an idea. This is going to be dangerous, but let me do this. I want to take this entire thing. I want to group it. Well, that's one leg. Now, can we turn the body back on? And can we make 1, 2, how many? 4? We need to make 4 of these. So I need to take this. I just want to see if this will even work at all. Let's rotate, or not rotate, transform geometry. We'll join this in, and I'll just rotate it on the Z. So there's another leg. Now the question is, if I go in here and I move this, okay, there's 2 legs. Let's get 4. Let me see something. 1, 2, or maybe I could do, I know what I could do. Hold on. I'm smart. Watch this. We're gonna add a curve circle with 4, or no, we'll add 2, 3, curve circle. But we're gonna add a certain amount of vertices to this. So let me just raise this up. We're gonna reduce the amount to 8, and then we'll just instance onto those points. And I wonder if we can instance this. Haha. So now we have our legs. We just need to make sure that they align to the tangent of the curve. I don't know if this is gonna work or not, but we'll try it. Curve, tangent. Why isn't it working? Should be working. Or is it, hold on, is it distribute points on? Or is it normal? So we have to do the normal. Align rotation to vector. And we want the vector to be the curve tangent, I think. I feel like I'm so close to figuring this out. Oh, there it is. Ah, let's go. All right, so now when I move these, they should move up and down. Now what I'll do is I will reduce the radius. And now the question is, can we make them individually move by, I don't know how, but we're going to try it. But first things first, let's give this thing some curve to mesh. Or no, is it curve? Is it, oh, it is a mesh right now. So let's do mesh to curve. Okay. Let's do curve to mesh. Let's do curve circle. Perfect. And just for testing purposes, I'm going to reduce the quality of this. All right, so we have that. That's good. So far, we're not doing terrible. I mean, it's not perfect, but you get the concept, right? So now it's like we want control over this right here, which is the rotation. So when you do combine X, Y, Z, we only want to control the We only want to control the Y, right? Right now, just for now. So I'm going to expose that parameter right here. Now we can control the Y here. All right, now it's like we have that. That's good. Now let me think about what else we want to do. Just thinking, I'm thinking through this. Be really cool if one of these affected the other's rotation. Where is... Hold up, I don't want to... I want to do... Well, actually, first of all, let me make sure these reach the ground. There we go. You know what's crazy? There's a million ways that you can do this. This is one way, but there's also a million ways that you can do this. Because you want to have them like, you want to have it like almost stepping, right? So here's one thing I will show you guys. We can actually have this thing move around. So this whole thing is the spider. We can have this thing like follow a path, for example. It is a cool spider. Thank you. Because right now we just have the legs. Just thinking, I'm thinking through this. You know what else I want to do though? I kind of want to have like joints on this. Can we do that? Can we do? Let me see something. Mesh to curve, resample curve, and then I want to do curve to points. All right, I just want to see something real quick. This will make sense in a second. I'm just seeing if I can do some joints real quick. Let's go, bro. All right, let me see something. Okay, I have an idea. We're going to add an empty plane axis. We're going to put it right here. I'm going to drag it in here. We're going to take the relative position of it with a proximity. Make a park or a garden. That could be cool too. And I think we can just drive the distance to the translation, but we are going to need a map range. And nothing's happening. No. What is happening? Geometry, distance. Okay, that's weird. Oh, you know why? I'm gonna do this. Let's try that. Bro, what? That is... I'm perplexed as to why nothing is happening. Maybe it has to be a real object? No, I've never had... There we go. All right, maybe that's weird. It has to be a real object. I've never had that happen. That's really weird. All right, let's see something here. All right, now I want to see, instead of translating that, I wonder if we can do rotate instances instead. Dissolve this. Crazy, bro. But really the selection we want is this is where it becomes difficult, because now because these are instance rather than like just one individual, it becomes a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these nodes here, cut them, bring them into here, or, all right, you know, whatever, we'll just redo the whole thing. Take this, we'll take proximity, and we're only going to work on this for a little bit longer because I do want to kind of get to like what else we're going to do here. All right, I want to change, instead of like controlling this from outside the node group, kind of want to see what would happen if we did this. Okay, to relative position. Why can't I? I'm sorry, what? Work like this. That's weird. Why won't it? That's a vector. That makes sense. It has a rotation. I would like to use some math. Can I use math into the rotation? Perfect. Then I should be able to do this. Why? Can I do this instead? That's really annoying. Why can't I do that? It's relative. Okay, that's... Ooh, okay. We're starting to get somewhere here. All right, that's promising. So I can take the location. That's fine, I guess. But I really wish it was relative to... Be nice if it was relative. How cool is that? It's awesome. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's pretty darn cool. Can each leg be controlled by the vertex angle in circle? Oh, that's an interesting concept. There's so many ways you can go about doing this. I do want to make sure I get to everybody else's ideas, though. Let me just check something real quick. It is a jumping spider. All right, looks like legs with the solar system. Oh, of the solar system. Bruh. Man, I'll tell you what. I'm thinking through this. You know what? We're gonna start on a new idea. That was fun to explore, though. That was fun to explore. How's everybody doing so far? Good? All right. Next idea. Ladies and gentlemen, next idea. Here we go. All right. We went through a couple of them already. We did these. I'll tell you what. You guys can vote on which one of these that you want to see. I'll be right back. I'm going to use the bathroom. By the time I get back, I would love to see which one of these that you guys want to see in Blender. Go ahead and drop your vote in the chat below. I will be right back momentarily. Oh, can you clamp the proximity to a certain point? Yeah, kind of. Would love to see that too. Water and snow. All right. What, bro? What did you just say in the chat? Everybody loves water sims. I'll tell you what. We'll do some simulation stuff. What in the world, bro, are you talking about? Oh my god, bro. What is he talking about, dude? All right, real quick though, I'm gonna shout this out. This is my course. If you want to learn physics, this is the course to do it.
Physics brings your scenes to life. In this course, you'll learn how to transform static models into believable simulations using Blender's powerful physics tools. Watch rigid bodies collide with realistic force. Create flowing water, rising smoke, and roaring fire. Turn simple meshes into dynamic cloth, soft bodies, and particle effects. Harness force fields to control motion with precision. And bring everything together through practical projects designed to build real-world skills, not just teach you settings. Whether you're creating motion graphics, visual effects, product animations, or cinematic scenes, understanding physics unlocks an entirely new level of realism. By the end of this course, you'll have the confidence to build simulations from scratch, troubleshoot common problems, and know exactly which tools to use to recreate the effects that you imagine. Let's bring your scenes to life with the fundamental.
Had to show you guys just plugging my own course because a lot of you guys are talking about physics, and if that's what you want to learn, that's where to do it. Wait, what do you laugh? Oh, popping. Okay, I thought you said something different. I gotcha. All right. Anyways, back to what we were doing. Okay, so some people want to see lava. Some people want to see water, snow. Oh man, I don't even know where to start. I'll tell you what, I'll just show you a quick water sim. Easy. Click on your object, go to Object, Quick Effects, Quick Liquid, press play, and that's it. You have a water simulation. It's really that easy. But of course there's more to it because there always is. That's like your basic water simulation. You can see it's kind of like playing in the viewport here, and it looks pretty good. It's okay, right? But it's really just this like thing like falling into a liquid, so it's not really like, it's not pouring in. Like, you would never just have this, like, cube of liquid falling. I mean, I guess you could if you poured a cup out, right, or something like that. But in our physics tab, this is where like, everything, like, really takes place. This little cube is your, like, resolution. That's kind of, like, how detailed the simulation is. We're at 32. I'll bump it up to 100. Show you the difference. Now, when we press play, you can see the frame rate is a lot slower. It's about 4 frames a second. But when that water hits the ground, you're going to see it's going to look a little bit different, right? It's going to look a little more detailed. We press pause here. You can see just how much different it looks, right? This is the level of like the simulation that you're getting here, right? You can see this water breaking here. I mean, it looks really cool. Now, there's something called baking, which is where you're basically telling Blender to remember the simulation so we can play it back in like real time. But more or less, that is how you would go about a simulation. It's all good, man. It's all good. It is all good. All good. All right, so that's how you do that. Now, obviously, right now, we would want to go back to maybe like 40 for our simulation. This small cube right here is our like liquid like that's coming out. It's just a geometry. Now, if we set it to inflow and then we press play, now we have a flowing liquid. Like this is the source of the liquid itself. I'm going to scale this down a bit. All right. I'm going to go back here. Now, one of the things you have to do sometimes is bake. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to bake. I'm going to go to 120. Go to our wireframe view so we can like really see everything happening. Right now we're on replay mode. So if we press play, it just kind of like flows in like this. But we can actually set it to all, which means like we can bake the simulation out. So depending on what you're looking for, this is kind of like how you go about doing a liquid simulation. And then if you want the simulation to like run into things and have like a collision, like a collider, you would do this. You would add a cube, maybe scale it down just to make like a platform, right? Maybe give it a little bit of rotation so we can see what's happening. Now, right now, this is just a cube. But if we go to our fluid, we add a fluid effector, and now we press play. Now, our fluid will flow around this object, right? Because it's now part of the simulation. And you can see, if you zoom in here, you can kind of see like the actual particles that are like part of the simulation. Just helps you visualize kind of like what's happening. Obviously, the higher the resolution, usually, the better it's going to turn out. So I'll go ahead and play this back at 100 resolution so you can kind of see the difference, and then we'll move on to something new. All right, so now you can really see, right, we're getting this higher quality simulation. Now, just to give you kind of like a frame of reference, right, this is 100 subdivisions or like resolution divisions. I have baked things up to 300. I bake things up to 600. It really genuinely depends on like the level that you're going for and like the level of realism, right? This looks cool though. This looks pretty nice. You can see the water's clearly like hitting our platform. It's bouncing off. Like this is a pretty high quality sim regardless. So if I wanted to bake this out, I would go here. I would click on all, and then I would click bake all. And then you can see at the bottom, now Blender's baking out this simulation. Yeah, I get it. Just new to Blender and good at modeling, but this guy is cool to learn a lot from. Enhances the vision, like help with knowing the limits that can be reached. Yeah, I mean, so like one of the limits is your computer. Hate to say it. A lot of people don't like to hear that because they don't want to pay for anything because they didn't have to pay for Blender. So I think the expectation is there that, okay, so I shouldn't have to pay for anything. Well, yeah, you kind of do, because if you really want to get really good at Blender and you want to be able to process your ideas quicker, you need a better system with higher quality GPU, a lot of RAM, like VRAM, and then you want to have enough storage to store these big Blender files and these big caches of the simulations that you're baking, not to mention the high quality resolution files that you're going to make, right? All right, let's escape that. There we go. So you can kind of see, if we just let this play out to 50. All right, so here's what we're getting, right? We're getting this really super high quality liquid simulation. In fact, we can't even play this back at like full FPS, but this is the kind of liquid simulation you can get with that higher quality. That's the level. All right, that was Liquid Sim. Pretty easy stuff. What is next, ladies and gentlemen? Let's do a poll in the chat. Start another poll here. Now, if you really, really, really want to learn more about that stuff, again, physics-wise, this is the place to do it. I am going to kind of plug my own course just one more time because this is really, I spent a lot of time on that, and I'm giving away a lot of knowledge there for a pretty good price, in my opinion. All right, what is next? Let's take a look. We can't do a water sim using geometry nodes. I'm not that advanced in geometry nodes, but it's a cool concept. Okay, let's do dynamic paint next. Someone was asking about like how to make an imprint on like a surface. I believe that it's similar to this. So like if you wanted to make an imprint on a surface, what I would do is I would add a plane. I would subdivide it a few times like this, right? Now you have this plane like this, easy. I would go over to my physics settings and add a dynamic paint canvas. Click on add canvas. And then I would add something to like make the imprints. So like for example, maybe a sphere. I would bring the sphere up here. I would click on dynamic paint, type brush. I would click add brush. Now for my canvas type, instead of paint, I'll use displace. So now when I press play, you can see that I can now press into our surface. It's really that simple, right? Now you're probably thinking, okay, the surface isn't really bouncing back. Well, you can make it bounce back because we have paint, displace, and then you can also go here to dissolve, which will dissolve the effect. I'll make it dissolve over 30 frames. So now when we press play, you can see that I can press into my surface. See how it dissolves away? This is the beauty of dynamic paint. I'll make it maybe like 60 frames instead. There we go. So now what happens is, again, you can press into this kind of like memory foam. So it's really cool. You can kind of like imprint something on the surface. So for those that want to do like a shoe in snow, you would turn off dissolve because the shoe print would stay. But if you're doing something where it's like memory foam, you can kind of press in here, right? And you get that really nice effect. And the more subdivisions you have, the better the effect will become, right? Look at that. right? You guys seeing how this works? Pretty cool, right? So, and this is really useful. This is some of the stuff we go over in the course. But this stuff, and we go over it in more detail, but what's cool is like, yes, it's a little bit, how do I say this? It's a little bit like jagged right now, but you can clean that up with subdiv and smooth. We'll smooth it like, I don't know, 10 times. Let's see how it looks now. Yep, already looks better. And if you still don't think that's smooth enough, you can smooth it out 30 times if you want to. Right? Boom. Now you have this awesome surface that you can like press into. It's pretty fun too. It's kind of like satisfying to do. You can probably imagine there's a lot of practical applications for this, especially with like tire treads. You can kind of like fake like liquid type of stuff with this, but this gives you like a rough idea of like kind of what you can do. What if you use it with keyframes? Yeah, you can use it with keyframes. So like I could go here, keyframe this, bring it down, keyframe. I'll just duplicate the first. So now we have this piece going in and out. Boom, right pressing in, moving up, and there's your keyframe. Easy. So it's going to press in. It's going to press back out. I'm not doing anything. It's just keyframed. It works with keyframes, yeah. Can I do a procedural forest generator using geometry nodes that scatters multiple trees with natural clustering, randomness, terrain adaptation, instancing, optimization for large-scale environments? Oh my god. Totally, bro. Can you teach me effect growth tree? Oh, like a tree that grows over time? Yeah, you could probably do something like that. Let me write these ideas down. So that is, I'm just going to delete this. For snow simulation, I would just use a particle emitter. Let's see. All right, so a couple things. First of all, we're going to need to do a new vote because we have a lot of ideas here. I am going to add to the chat starfish. Okay. I'm going to add to the chat, let's see, we'll do modeling, procedural geometry nodes, or what's the other one I had here? Actually, I think that was the only one. And I'll just choose my favorite from those. So the turtle will be modeling. Just be like that. That's technically, this is just do geometry nodes. Technically, there's a third one, but I'll let you guys vote. Make it 50-50? What? No. Come on, guys. We got 68 people watching and you can't vote? Come on, guys. Give a vote. Give a vote. Drop into that chat real quick. Give a vote. Get your input in there so that we can create something really awesome for the whole audience here. He's really trying to make it 50-50. All right, sounds like procedural geometry nodes might be the way to go. I'm going to wait for you guys to vote. I'm sending a quick text if you don't mind. Very important text. Oh my gosh. All right, guys. I think geometry nodes might be the winner. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and create something cool. All right, geometry nodes won that round. 60%. Wow. Okay. All right. All right. Ending the poll now. Hello. Welcome to the chat. Yasakuriati. I don't know if I said that right. All right, so geometry nodes won. Let's go ahead and isolate that. So geometry nodes is a winner. Question is, what are we going to create? So I think I could combine these two kind of. I feel like they're similar, so I gotta put them in like the same category. Now it's up to you guys. Do we want to do the Japanese hand fan, or do we want to do the growth tree effect, or the procedural forest? Narrow it down here. Now, if we were gonna do like a procedural forest, I would probably go over to Polyhaven, and I would probably get like a photorealistic model of a tree, perhaps. Let's see, nature. Yeah, like something like this. Maybe a few of these to scatter around. What is better to master geometry nodes or modeling? I would say they both have their own applications, so that's a tough one. Modeling, I feel like, is a little more diverse, but geometry nodes, man, you can do a lot of cool. You can actually model with geometry nodes. Which has more to offer? I think geometry nodes has more to offer, to be honest. I really do. Modeling's great. I mean, they're both like they're their own skills. Like it's tough to say. It really is. For sampling. See, these are cool because you can scatter these. You can have a collection and you can scatter them all over the place. Growth one would be better. Okay. Geometry nodes all day. Oh man. All right, we got some. All right, I'll tell you what. We'll do a real quick growth tree type of thing, and I'll show you like how I might go about doing something like that. So one of the cool things with geometry nodes is you have like a simulation zone, so you can kind of like grow things. I just want to show you though, guys. Curve. We'll do a you know what? We'll do a spiral. I just want to show you. There's something really important to note about curves. We can trim the curve. So there's a trim curve node, so we can grow things. Like if you have something that's already modeled, so if we go into like, just hide this real quick. If we go in here and do, I don't know, like a single vert. Why can I not add a single vert? I'll add a cube. Single vert. Why can I not add a, all right, whatever. We'll just do merge by distance, I guess. Merge at center. Collapse. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we have a single one. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and just create a tree real quick. All right, this is just an example. You don't have to do it like this. I'm not saying this is the best way to create a tree, right? In fact, it's definitely not, and there's definitely better ways. All right, so you have this guy. All right, so you have a tree, right? Or whatever this is, okay? You go into geometry nodes, you make a new setup, you do mesh to curve, and then you just do trim curve. And then you could animate this to start and stop. Although, you can see it starts and stops from like, I don't know how to explain this. It starts and stops from like the wrong points, if you will. You can also do this too. This is one way to like animate it in. However, if you don't want to do it like that and you want it to like animate from the bottom up, what I would do is I would probably do like a recursive thing where it's like, delete this guy, turn this guy back on. I would do a recursive thing where it's like a simulation zone. And I would probably start with a curve line, or actually no, mesh line. I will plug it in here. And every single frame, you can do something with that mesh line. So you could extrude the mesh, you could extrude the vertices, and if I press play right now, it'll just shoot straight up. But we kind of want it to like shoot like a random direction each time, right? And we also maybe want the offset to be smaller, right? There we go, a little smaller. Now the direction that it chooses is kind of like up to us. So I think, let me just try for the offset. I'm gonna do a combine XYZ. Now I haven't made this before. We'll try it out. Check the comments real quick. I'm really happy that I will learn something from you. Well, thank you so much. I'm so happy that you're here to learn from us here. Do you think geometry nodes is a field that AI can do good in? Maybe. I don't know. I found that AI can do some pretty complex things in geometry nodes. Yeah, well, I want to do some complex things in geometry nodes. There's nothing wrong with, like, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with geometry nodes and AI combined. I just think it's so much more fun to, like, do it myself. I don't know. There's just something about doing it myself that I like, me personally. But all right, so we're able to decide which direction to offset. So you could like go up like that, right? However, I want my selection to be a specific index, and I want it to equal something. Let's see. Let's equal. See what happens if we press play. Okay, so when we press play, we only get one extrusion. Okay, that makes sense. But if we do this, if we do frame, or actually not integer equal to, we could do a random. We could do, hold on, Boolean or random Boolean. So we take a random, we do Boolean. See if, let me just see what this does. Okay, so it'll take a random one. Okay, there we go. Now, if I want it to be random each time, think about this. Okay, I have an idea. Let's join the geometry in together. Just want to see what this looks like real quick. All right, good. So we have a little bit of randomness here. Now, I also want it to randomly choose a direction. So I want it to be like, this. Random value. See, I just want to see what this does. Okay, good. We're getting somewhere here. Let's see. I want the random value to be a float between 0 and 1. Actually, let's do negative 10 and 10. There we go. Ah, perfect. Now, what we have is something insane, right? We kind of have this like crazy. Let me save this before it crashes. Hold on. This is what I was looking for, though. So let's go back. This is going really, really fast. So we want to kind of slow this down a little bit. One of the ways we can slow that down is by going like this. There we go. Now we're getting this like random growth, if you will. One of the things I wanted to do, though, is also give it a random offset, too. So let's give it a random value each time. Nope. Random value each time between 0.02 and 0.001. Let's go here. And the seed will change every frame. Okay, let's see what we get now. All right, better. It's still a little bit fast, so let me see what I can do here. Just want to see what happens if I don't combine it. Okay, it only works on those structures. That's fine. We want to keep the original structure too. We reduce the count to 4. Okay, good. And I want the offset scale to actually be, it can be larger. There we go. Now we're getting something here. So now you see like we're getting the growth that we want. It just needs to be slower, and it needs to be more like progressive, if you know what I mean. Do you think artificial intelligence will make my work less valuable? Maybe. They can slow things down by using the selection input and lowering the probability. Yeah. Let's lower the probability to 0.02. Ooh, a little too low. 8.1. Ha ha ha. Nice. This needs to be a little taller, though. Let's go back. So awesome. So we're really like, basically what we're doing is we're saying, all right, I want you to decide which direction to take this. I just want to see something here. All right, cool. I want to do the same thing here. I want to do a random value. And I want to do a random value for, let's do every single axis. I kind of want to see what happens here. All right, maybe not every single axis. Let me try just 2. Let's try just X and Y. I guess we need to change. Oh, you know what? Let's try that. Let's try that. So sick. Dude, this is awesome. Now, it gets pretty complex pretty quickly, so let's do 0.04 maybe, like something less. It's interesting because look at, it's almost like, you know what this reminds me of is like a crystal growth. So you could like kind of start here. It's kind of cool. This is kind of fun. I have one complex rig to make, which is a creeper, which is like a creeper or snake kind of thing climbing into a moving character while it's moving. And I think I'll go with geometry nodes if you can somehow help. Oh my God, bro, that sounds crazy. All right, I think that was good for like the growth of the tree. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's not perfect. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's cool. Gives you an idea of like where to start with. I would say there's also other things you can do that it's cooler than this. This is really awesome though. I wonder if you can. Oh, this is fun. I love this kind of stuff. This is interesting though. A creeper from Minecraft, yeah, probably. All right, let me go to my next idea. That was a fun one. There's a better way to do it with like shortest distance path. I forget how to do it though. All right, let's do the. All right, we're down to 2. The procedural Japanese hand fan or the procedural forest. Please do me a favor and vote in the chat. What would you like to see? Would you like to see a procedural forest? Or would you like to see a hand fan? Boom. The vote has begun. Hair, like anime hair? Yeah, that's probably something we could look into in the future. Definitely. Oh my gosh, it's a close vote, bro. Oh. I gotta look up what this Japanese hand fan. Oh. Oh my gosh, look at this thing. Oh lord, this is gonna be an interesting one. Okay, okay. This is cool. It definitely gonna be interesting. Crap. I'm about to remove the image of it on here because then you guys are gonna vote for it. It's a neat one. I think I have some ideas of like how to go about it. Bro. Okay, yeah, I have some ideas. Actually, you know what's funny? We can actually do a repeat zone to. I think we can do a repeat zone to like do this array, if you will. All right, looks like the hand fan won. Can you do a little matrix math for this one? Possibly. All right, hand fan it is. All right, into geometry nodes we go. And we will open up the image editor. I'm going to pull my reference in here. All right, start from a top-down view. Add a cube, so we have something to work with for our geometry. I'm going to start with this cylinder because I want to get like the central point of this whole thing. Okay. Depth. There we go. Okay, so this is going to be the central like pin, if you will. I'll give it a little bevel. A little bevel action. It ain't never hurt nobody. Well, apparently not, actually. Beautiful. All right, that'll just be just the pin. I'm going to go ahead and group that. All right, that's just the pin. We'll join it with the fan blades next. Save this as fan, whatever. I don't care. Yeah, no matrix, no matrix. Not yet, not yet. All right, we have our bevel. Everything's looking great. Now what we want to do is we want to design these like the blades themselves. So let's do it. I'm thinking for the blade, it'll just be like literally like a probably a grid. Yeah, let's do a grid. We'll do a really thin grid. So we'll go here. We'll thin it out. And then let me do this. Bevel. I want to bevel the vertices. Okay, let's do 0.35. That's fine. No, 0.3. All right, that's fine. All right, and then we can do something like... Oh, I see why it wouldn't let me now. I think I know now. There we go. Makes sense. All right, let's set the position. Beautiful. Now, the real question is, when I transform this geometry, what will be the pivot point of rotation? Oh, we'll still be around the center. All right, we're Gucci. This would be a bit challenging, sorry. Oh, no, you're good, you're good, you're good. Yeah, I want to see if, I think we can use the repeat zone. Let's try it. I don't know if this will work, but I'm going to try it. I think repeat just literally does the same thing over and over again, right? Oh, and then we need to join the geometry back with itself. Here it is. Now we just decide how many we need. Let's count. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I think there's 20. So I'll do 20. All right. We'll adjust the rotation here. And then we need to adjust the Z as well. Before we do this, though, let me get some solidity on here. There we go. And then we'll just adjust this a little bit. I feel like that might be the move there. And then I got to figure out... Oh, the pin is a little bit too big. So let's adjust that radius. Actually, no. Hold on. All I have to do is transform geometry. And I'll just scale it down with a value. Beautiful. All right, I feel like that is a great way to do it. I do want to get out of this. I want to take a look at the bevel. Raise the amount of segments. That looks great. Now, I am tempted to say we could bevel it one more time. But this time we'll do the edges. And we will do a value, a really, really low value for each one of these. I don't know if this will work because I'm not sure how it's going to handle the geometry. Oh, yeah, we got it. We got a small bevel in there. That looks good. This is clean, bro. What do you guys think? And we can animate it opening and closing too if we go here. Beautiful. Now the hard part is going to be the the like pieces between the fan blade. These are going to be like, I don't know, they're going to have to somehow cover the top of this. This will be interesting. I almost am tempted to say we're going to reroute this whole thing. Ooh, this is going to be tough. How am I going to do this? It's almost like it's only the top half. Okay, I have an idea. What if we take a curved circle, okay, and we do a fill curve, okay, and then, no fill curve. We'll do a curve to mesh. And then what we'll do is we'll do a quadrilateral, I think. Quadrilateral should be fine. Okay, now what we need to do is reduce this. Except we only want width, we don't want any height. Aha! There we go. So, we'll do something like this. Now, let me do the set position. It's looking a little funky. Why does it look so weird? Maybe I don't want to... You know what? I actually think we could extrude it inwards. Oh, we might be able to do that. Hold on. We'll do a mesh circle. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I have some ideas for how I want to do this. I want to extrude like inwards. I want to extrude the edges. There we go. That's better. Okay, that's more what I wanted to do. Perfect. So I have that. That's good. That's a good start because I have kind of like the piece that I want. I can extrude this. I can reduce the radius. Now I kind of have like the first half of this covered. Let me go into my wireframe mode. I think the amount of repeats, I will also connect that to the amount of like slits in this thing. Does that kind of make sense? So how many do I have? Vertices, I have 32. How many repeats do I have? 20. Let's see if that works. Or should I have twice as many? No, I should have twice as many because they need to be smaller. I think, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, one. Because all right, let me think. No, it should be 1.5 times as many. I'm probably overthinking it. All right, anyway, I got my mesh. I've extruded it. I need to delete some geometry here. I think I'll just delete until I get like the result that I'm looking for. And I think for this one, I'll just do... Oh, this is going to be tough because then I need to adjust the rotation. Hold on, let me think about this. I'm going to go back. I'm sorry. I'm going to do a curve, circle. I apologize, guys. I'm trying to think this through, and I want to do it the correct way. I am going to do a curve circle. I'm going to trim this curve, and the trim amount is going to match the angle that these guys are at, which is right here, which I can use with a combine XYZ. Right now, they're at a 7-degree angle. No, they're not. I thought they were. Did that work? It did work, but it's 0.1. That's fine. Or maybe 0.2. Okay, perfect. Now this value, I also want to be right here. I want to drive this into my ending trim amount. Perfect. But I also want to make sure that it is properly calibrated. I actually think this is correct. I just need to transform this geometry and flip it 180. Okay, there we go. Now there's our curve. We just need to make sure that it is multiplied properly. Maybe 3. Multiply it by 3. $90 degrees flipped. Let me see if this works. I'm curious. If I adjust this value, works a little bit. We're close. We're close. All right, so the paper folding will be interesting. Yeah, I'm curious to see how I'm going to do that. I have some ideas. I have some ideas on how I'm going to do that. All right, I'm pretty happy with what we have so far. Now I have to take this curve and I have to basically say, okay, I want to do curve to. Oh, I wonder if I can do curve to points, and then instance on each point and rotate every other one. How many was it? 32? No, hold on. Just 20. There it is. Okay, and then instance on points. We'll instance a grid. In this case, I need to instance a grid. I want it to be rotated to match the rotation of these. Perfect, but then I need it to be like this. Okay, so far we're getting somewhere here. We need to adjust this. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere. Now what I think I want to do is I want to take the grid and I want to raise the center, like, I don't know how to explain this. I want to raise the center line. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm not making sense. Yeah, there we go. So now there's only one line in the middle. You guys see that? There's one line for each plane. And I think if I take that, I can set the position of just that and raise it up so that it's like, looks like this. Make sense? All right, let's do this. We're going to set the Z position, but let me do this. Index. And then I want to do the index. Oh, no, it's got to be the edge. Hold on, let me think about this. So I'm going to move the edge. not set position. It's scale elements. I want to scale the edge up. No, I want to technically I want to move the edge up. Just the selection of just that edge. Hold up. Let me see if I can do this. Selection is the index, and it's going to be equal to what? Something. Did I do this correctly? I did. Okay, I just need to get the other index now. So that's 1. I want to do and another index equal to something else. Is this going to work? I don't know if this is going to work. I'm going to try it. We'll do 1, and we'll do... I don't know why... No. I need to do and. There we go. So annoying. I wish it would be like is edge, and then you just take that edge and go whoosh, right? I'm waiting to see the paper implementation. Yep, working on it. I guess some ratio of the fold radius would give you the amount of edges you need or something like that. Starting the fan blade. You know what? I'm going to do this a little bit differently. We're going to take this. We're going to transform the geometry. Oops. We're going to do this 45, right? And then we're going to do 2 of them. Actually, it would just be the same way. It would really just be like this. Bro. Up a little bit. Oh, wait, I could... Wait, I'm stupid. There's a better way to do this. Sorry, guys. There is a much better way to do this than I wasn't thinking. Extrude the mesh, extrude the edge, and only extrude that specific edge. Bro, why didn't I think of this? Index equal to whatever. And we'll only do the one edge, which is going to be... Beautiful. But I only want it to be extruded this amount. And then I will flip these all around using transform geometry. In fact, I really should do this here. All right, there we go. I'm sorry that took so long, guys. I was like really probably overthinking it, but it's all good. Now these need to be moved down a little bit. In fact, these really would go... These would go through the same repeat zone. In fact, they would all be... Really bring them back through another repeat zone. Let's go from a single point. That you could go from a single point. Can you do one side at 45 and the other one flipped? Yes, that is one way to do it. All right, anyway, back to what I should have been doing a long time ago. These need to be staggered the same way the other one is. So I think I might just copy... this. Actually, can I just run this? It would be really great if I could just run this whole thing through the exact same one. Which I think I can do. But these are instances, so they need to be realized. And they don't need to be repeated 20 times. They just need to be dropped down. You know what I really should have done is just taken this. Hold on. Let me see if I can take it, because this right here really is the piece that... Okay, I think I know what to do. Let me just see something here. Let me unplug these instances real quick. All right, awesome. Beautiful. Just need to match the location. So location's not matched because why? Grid, okay. There needs to be every single point where the grid is, it needs to generate, well, I basically need to rotate these around. Hold up. Bro, what the heck? Let me just see what is happening here. Let me see if this... It's almost like it is rotated. Like, we're so close. We're so close, bro. Well, first of all, these need to be face down. Perfect. And then why aren't they aligned up? It's my only confusion there. Hey, when the fan is open at that time, I think the upper part is completely flat. I think you're right. And the other weird thing is these folds go in between each grid, like each other grid point that I have. This is a tough one, man. This is a good challenge, though. I think the hard part is I don't know. Oh, bro. It's definitely this. Hold on. No, wasn't that. Okay. Dude. Hold up, hold up. There we go. Okay. There they are. Perfect. Let's see if we can offset them. Beautiful. Now that they're offset, now we just need to rotate them around, which is where the hard part comes in. Just need to be rotated. I don't understand why I'm having such difficulties, bro. Okay, I think I got it. But at what expense, bro? Did I get it? Okay, I kind of got it. Let's see if they move. Bro, this is such a pain in the butt, man. All right, they do move. The only other thing is now we have to we have to extend the length of them based on the angle. I think I might be able to make this work though. Hold on. All right, so the value of the rotation should determine the it should determine this size. Yeah, it should determine this size. That's 0.1 right now. This is actually fairly close. That might have done it. All right, let's see if this works. Now the angle of the rotation gets bigger. It did not work at all. I think I need to multiply it. Multiply it by what, though? Oh, crap. I see why this is not a good idea, because then the other side... Well, actually... How much am I extruding it? Oh, I need to... plug the offset in. That's why it wasn't working. Okay, I think I got it. Not bad. Huh? The offset works, and the position... Okay, I think I got it, guys. I think I got it. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's not terrible either, right? It's not terrible. So now we have the rotation of the fan right here. And it rotates. Not terrible. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. You can see there's some overlap here. It's hard. You need to get this number. This number needs to be like 1.1 almost. Or just, is it supposed to be 1 the whole time and we just didn't adjust the offset correctly? Oh, that was it, I think. Bro, not bad. I'm proud of myself. That was a tough one. And now I think I need to extend these a little bit further because they're a little bit longer. All right. I'm going to call it on that one. Look at that. We did it. We did it. We did it. I'm still happy. I'm happy enough with that result. I think we did pretty good. Yeah, look, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with this one at least. I can only do so much like geometry. Geometry nodes like hurts my brain sometimes, honest to God. There is one more thing we can do though with these. I shouldn't be saying this because now it's gonna... Do we just do it? Do we just do it? Just want to see if this works. I don't know if this is going to work or not. We subdivide it, and then we smooth geometry to make them, like, more rounded. We'll do subdivision surface. This is a dangerous game right here. Two. Hold up. I wonder, can we see, keep boundaries, keep corners. Keep corners. Yeah. There we go. Can we smooth it out now? We can. We can smooth it out real nice, but then we need to re-extend our size of these. All right, now they're more curved. And if you want them to be less curved, then you go back to the subdivision. Or, no, sorry, you go back to this. Reduce these, smoothing them out. I'm overthinking this whole thing, but you get the idea. All right. Next suggestion, I'm going to have you guys vote because I have to go to the bathroom because I've been drinking too much water. Oh, I guess this is the only one left. But go ahead and drop your suggestions in the chat, and I'll consider them. I'll be back in less than a minute. All right, guys, I got some Greek yogurt. Not that it matters to you, but I just needed a quick snack as well. Because you know what? Blender artists gotta eat, ladies and gentlemen. It's pretty good. All right. So, you want to make a procedural forest, do you? Going for a bathroom break. Yep, I appreciate you sticking around to watch. Eating is not good. All right, here we go. Let's do terrain generator first, and then we can generate things on top of it. Grid, all good things start with the grid node. All right, set position, and we're gonna do some noise texture on this bad boy. But let's make it a nice big grid. Now, theoretically, yes, you could probably make this thing the real size that it would be, but for our instances, I'm going to do 300 by 300. So now if we look at this in wireframe, you can see just how dense this mesh is, right? And this is important because we want to work with this mesh. Okay, so right now, it's pretty simple. We really just take a noise texture, or any texture that we want to, combine XYZ. We'll do just the Z because we only want to affect the Z. And we just basically plug it into the offset here. And then we can just decide the scale of this. Okay. We can also do vector scale to make it a little more intense. Okay. And that's basically your terrain. Now, obviously, it's not perfect, right? You're going to probably add some detail. Reduce the size. Maybe reduce the roughness a little bit. Now you have something that's like half decent terrain. I think it looks pretty good. You can add some distortion. Now, obviously, the other part of it is the more you have here, right? The higher density this terrain is going to be, right? But this is like pretty awesome way to do it. It's looking really good. What do you guys think? Pretty cool? I think it's looking pretty awesome so far. Now let's take this and let's group it. This is our terrain. Beautiful. So we have our terrain. Save. Quick bite. Let's go ahead and go back to Polyhaven. And let's find some things to distribute. Now, first thing I think I'll do... Oh, man, there's so many ways we can go about this. I don't know what kind of trees would be like. Would it be like evergreens or something? I don't really know. Like in a mountainous region? What are these? Pine? Let's do pine. All right, we'll do pine. We'll download the 1K. I'll just do the FBX and we'll download it because we don't need this to be super high quality. These are going to be incredibly small on here. Why is it taking so long to download? There we go. All right. Once this is done, we're going to drag it right into Blender, okay? Why is this download taking so long, bro? There we go. All right, we're extracting. Let's go to layout. Importing the FBX. All right, so, oh my God, these are really, really detailed. Okay, so I'm going to take these three. Okay, I'm going to highlight them. I'm going to move them to a new collection called trees. All right, we're going to turn that collection off. We're going to go back to geometry nodes. We're going to join our terrain with some points. Distribute points on faces. And now we're gonna go ahead and instance on those points. And the instance is going to be this collection, which is our trees. Now, as soon as I plug this in here, it's going to be crazy because there's going to be a few trees. Or maybe not. Where's our trees at, bro? Oh, pick instant. Oh, I never recombined. Hold on. Never combined our instances yet. All right, now it's going to... Okay, now it's going to go crazy. I think Blender might have just froze. Yeah, okay. One thing we need to do is adjust the value. Now, typically, I will say this because this is important. The trees themselves do not need to be... First of all, they don't need to be this big. And second of all, they really don't need to be... They don't need to be this high quality. Like right now, these trees are crazy high quality. Now, did this work? Yes, it did. And you can now like do separate children, reset, right? And there they are, right? So now you have your forest. That's really how you do it. But you really need to you need to dumb down the trees. Procedural road through forest geometry? Oh, through forest in GeoNodes. Let me think about that. I think you can. Yeah, I think you can. Let me think about how I would do that. Okay, I think I have an idea. I actually do want to get rid of this stuff because I kind of want to try what you just said. So you have your terrain right here. Let's just see something. Set position. If I set our offset, let me think about this. Right here, it's scaling everything. But if you wanted like a road that ran through, I guess you could just do like a combined vector and then maybe like part of the noise. Huh. How would you do that? I feel like you would just want to flatten whatever you want, wherever you want the road, you would want it to be flat, right? So let me think about this. Oh. I got it. Let me try something real quick. Let me just see if we can do just the noise texture on half of this. And if this works, then my theory will work and we can try it. Ah, yes, it does. Okay, so now I know we can apply just the noise texture to like basically wherever we want. So I can basically be like, okay, wherever we want our road, we will make the opposite of that selection. So like really what we would need to do is take our grid and select points on that grid where we want the road to be. Does that make sense? Or I wonder if we could, yeah, you could. So like if you go and you just type in satellite view of road, I don't know. You go here. I don't know. I'm just imagining like, honestly, bro, I could just make this in. Let me do this. Let me try something. Photopia. All right, let's do this. Let's make a brand new file in Photopia. I'm just gonna make a square because I think this is gonna work. If you take your brush and you make a black line and you just simply like let's say this is what we want our road to be, right? Okay, that's what we want our road to be. File, export. You guys are gonna love this if this works. You take that, use an image texture, and I think we can just use this image texture as our decision for where we want the road to be. We plug our UV into the vector, and then we say, I want my selection. Oopsies, I plugged it into the wrong thing. I want my selection to be there. There's our road, right? And then what you do is maybe before, well, first of all, we scale this down a little bit. That's your road. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll go back to Photopia. I will take this image. I will do blur, Gaussian blur, And if I blur this, I believe we can get a smooth fall off. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's try it. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's how it would work though. Or you could do possibly a color ramp. But I think if we use this smooth image, it might help. And it does not. So let me do this color ramp. There's your road. Just need like a smoother fall off. That's basically how you would do it with a road, but you'd need like a smoother fall off for this. I think you can smooth it. I'm just thinking on how to do that. I guess you could do smooth geometry right here, but that's one way to do it. But again, it's not really like the result that we're looking for, right? Because we want a smoother fall off. I almost wonder if I can. Ooh, I wonder if I can plug this into the noise texture instead. Hold on, I have an idea. What if I plug this into the scale? And thank you very much. I will take my $1 million because I am a genius. All right, now it's not perfect, but you get the idea. Oh, that's cool. Now, I mean, there's a lot you can do with this. I'm already thinking through. This is the scale. I wonder if you plug it. I'm just curious if you plug it into the detail. Plug it into the roughness. Awesome. Gives you a rough idea of what you would do, though. It's not perfect. Really, you wouldn't want to smooth it too much, too. That's cool. Because now, see, this is really interesting because now what you can do, bro, you can literally... There's so much you can do with this. You know what? I want a big thing of water over here. Hold on, let me do it. Do we have a smooth brush? I want a big thing of water over here on the edge. Or maybe like right here I want a pond. Maybe I want another pond right there. Maybe a smaller pond right there. Now we can go and we can export this, right? By the way, this is a free program too, just saying. And then we can say, you know what? I would like to update my terrain map so that it fits what I want. Now I have like a pond over here or something, right? This is pretty cool. I do wonder if you could do like a gradient. I wonder, I'm just curious. Let me see something. Oh, this is neat. There's a lot you could do with this. Nah, this is cool. This is cool. There's like, here's what's crazy. You could go, like, I'll just show you, because this is just a black and white thing. If you took, like, a circuit board, now you have a terrain that looks like a circuit board. If you took this light, look at this, look. Now you have a terrain that looks like this. You could take, this is an actual terrain map. You could use this actual terrain map. Don't even get me started on displacement, but it's a whole nother thing. I'm just showing you guys, like, there's so much you can do with this. Obviously, at the end, you can convert it to a mesh, but just trying to show you guys. 76ers style terrain. So just like imagine you're doing like a commercial for a client project, and they're like, well, we want the terrain to look like the 76ers logo, right? Sure thing. I can do that. And you can kind of like subtly move it in there and being like, oh, there's no 76ers logo there. Oh, wait a second. Yes, there is. There it is right there. Right? There is none. No 76 logo. There it is, right? You kind of like subtly reveal. See, from here, it doesn't look like there's a logo. And then you're like, oh, wait a minute. Wait, it's right there. Hold on a second. How'd you do that? Right? Pretty cool. Gives you some ideas. Gives you some ideas for what you can do. Oh, man. And then, of course, you can smooth it out if you want to. You don't have to, but it gives you an idea. I don't like the smooth too much because you don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to do it overboard. But man, there's a lot you can do with this. All right, moving on. All right, let's go ahead and move on here. What would you guys like to see next, ladies and gentlemen? What's a conversation piece chair? Like, is that just a generic term? Oh, it's an actual... Is this the... Oh, it's literally this chair right here. Oh, this is a cool... This would be a cool thing to model. We could try modeling something like that. Can you make a procedural displaced mountain? Yeah, we pretty much just did that. So like basically what we just showed is pretty much how you would do that. You can drive it from an image, or you can just create it from scratch. This thing is really cool. Is this what we were trying to create? Is this what you guys wanted? Oh yeah, this thing's cool. We could probably make something like this. You guys want to make this? Is this what we want? So is there a image of like all the angles of this? There is. Okay, good. Oh, I kind of like that colorway right there. That's kind of nice. Oh, this thing's sweet. Tell you what, vote in the chat. Let us know what it is that you guys want to see. No votes? No votes? Are we just, you know what? I'm going to really challenge myself here. I am going to go to my modeling section. I am going to just use one image. And I'm not going to use a blueprint. I'm going to challenge myself. This is a good challenge for me. I think that I challenge you guys to do the same. So I'm going to use one image. I didn't even save the image yet. My gosh. Embarrassing. I'm going to use this image right here. And we're going to try to create the chair just with this one image. And then I'll probably start crying, and then I'll end up downloading the blueprint, and we'll use the blueprint. All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Let's add a cube. Let's tap into edit mode. Let's bevel it, and let's set up our like view first. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and go to here. We'll go to matte cap. We'll turn on our cavity. And I choose... What's like the most aesthetically pleasing one? I like this. Wish there was like a little bit more control over these. Ugh. You know what? We'll just do this one. I always do this one. All right, let's do this. All right, let me think. Where do I even start? Start with a plane. Let's rotate it up. I am going to give it a loop cut. I'm going to delete the other two vertices on this side. Perfect. And I'm going to give it a mirror. And I'm going to try my best to scale this the way that it ought to be scaled. Let's give it a subdiv. All right. I'm thinking we'll move this here. We will take this, move it down. Take this guy, move it over. And then these guys can move in on the Y. It's really tough to, I can't really see the bottom of this. It's hard, kind of hard to see. Does that look correct? I feel like that's kind of the general shape. Yeah, I feel like I like that. All right, simple deform. We're gonna bend this thing on the, do we want to bend it on the Z? Actually, I kind of want to do a curve modifier and do a curve circle. Scale this bad boy down, bring it up. Let me give this a solidify real quick so I can see it. Perfect. I want to scale this up. I actually want to scale it kind of like this because I want this curve to follow. So I want this to follow this guy on the, what do I want to follow it on? I want X maybe, Y. I'll tell you what. Sometimes simple deform never, actually, what am I doing, guys? I'm stupid. I will literally do this in edit mode with, I'm so stupid. All I have to do is proportional editing. Duh. My fault, guys. And you know what? We'll do sphere. I feel like that's how I go about the first part of it. That's the backing, though. That's just the backing. Now, for the front part of it, it's going to be a little bit different. For the front part, yeah, you could use lattice. That's true. You could use lattice. I won't say that that's a bad choice. It's definitely not. I think I'm going to duplicate this on the X. And then I kind of need this to be like sort of puffy-ish around the edges. Man, there's a lot of ways you can do this. I think the first thing I think of is remeshing and smoothing. So I just want to try it. Just kind of see what it looks like. Ooh. Actually, hold on a second. Solidify. Hold up. Let me get remesh. Get out of here for a second. Smooth. Get out of here. You solidify it in the negative direction. This will make sense in a second. There we go. Because it solidifies based on the normal. So right now, yeah, there we go. I want the normal to make sense. Awesome. All right, now let me see if I can give this a bevel. That's a little bit better. And then solidify will come back to you. And subdiv 4. We'll do this. We'll do 4 here. For this guy, that will do 2. Oh, yeah, there we go. Now we can smooth from here. A little bit better. All right, I'm not entirely displeased with that. All right, now for the bottom piece. So for the bottom piece, I may even just duplicate both of these. Rotate them. Move them up here. I'm going to delete the top piece, actually, because I just want to work with the bottom. All right, flatten that out. Move it up. Okay, so now we got to figure out what does this bottom piece look like. All right, I'm going to flatten everything up. Okay, I think I know. Now I'm going to use my loop tools here. I am going to space these guys out, space these guys out. I realized I'm still in proportional editing. It's fine. Okay, good. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these guys down. I'm going to do a loop cut here. I'm going to bring this guy out. Looks like this thing comes out. Scale it in. Bring it in. Okay, I think it's just really, really basic. I can't tell if it comes forward too much, like maybe a little bit on the X, like maybe that much. And then the rest kind of goes in the middle. So this stuff's going to go down, right? Like that. It's really going to come up on the sides. So like this edge loop right here is going to get moved forward, but it's going to be moved forward like kind of like that. Right? I feel like that's more or less like kind of what it looks like. And then I think the whole thing needs to kind of come in like this. And then I think it's tilted up like this. It's kind of hard, like it's hard to tell just from the image, but I feel like that's darn close. I'm happy with it. All right, duplicate. Give it a negative subdivision, negative 0.05, I believe is what we had on the other one. Bring it down. And then what did this? This needs the same exact modifiers. Beautiful. Looking good, looking good. Now, obviously, there's probably more that can be done, right? We can probably scale this up or at least scale it out kind of for the cushion. Same with this top guy here, but I mean, overall, it's not looking too bad. I'm pretty darn happy with it so far. All right, let's move on to the legs. Everybody's thoughts so far? Everybody on board? Again, I'm just using this as reference. I don't know that all the proportions are correct, but I'm assuming like this is what it would look like. All right, let's do the legs next. I feel like for the legs, okay, this is going to be, the legs might be one of the hardest parts. We're going to be using a mirror modifier for these. Okay, so I think first thing I'll do is kind of just rough out the dimensions of this thing. I'm going to give a loop cut here. I think this comes down. We'll rotate when we're done, but first I kind of want to rough this out. Turn off proportional editing. There's clearly a bevel, and then this, I feel like this piece comes forward. This piece comes outwards. All right, there's a bevel on the front, right here and here. I'm wondering once I apply the subdiv what's going to happen, because I want to be careful about how I do things. So before I do that, let's do subdiv on this here. You know what? Before doing subdiv, let's do this. Square these edges up. Okay, now I feel like we can bevel this the way that we want to. Let me just see what this looks like. I feel like that doesn't look terrible. These definitely get bowed out. Could you suggest a free lesson on how to make my render look better? I mean, whenever I try to make it look like... I can't think of a free lesson. I mean, I can talk to you guys about how to make your renders better, but, you know, it's one of those things that's like, there's so many ways to do that, and it really depends on what it is that you're like working with, right? So we're gonna have a crease at the top there because this is gonna kind of, I don't know how to explain. This is gonna go with the profile of this shape here. In fact, I kind of want it to like, well, hold on, let me just do this. This is tough because I want it to be, I don't want to, I guess I could just kind of rotate this. Let me see if I can just bring this up. Not terrible. I'll take it. All right, that's good for the legs. For this central part, this should be pretty simple. I'm literally just thinking a cube. Okay, good. All right, got that going. Bevel. Okay. What should beginners prioritize for learning Blender? I would say practice every single day. It depends on what you want to get really, really good at in Blender because there's so many different areas in Blender. I would say modeling you can't really go wrong with because it just helps your fundamental understanding of the 3D world. Hi from Madrid, Spain. Hello, welcome. Angel or he has an Angel Agudo Guerrero. Did I say that correctly? Nice name. That is a cool name. All right, let's go ahead and duplicate this. Let's tab into edit mode. Let's do this. Let's do mesh, mirror, X global. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and rotate this. Bring this down. All right, a couple of things I'm already noticing that I gotta do here. This is gonna be a tough one. I gotta really focus on what I'm doing here. All right, this has to go here, here, here. SZ0, GZ. Hold on. Select the top half. Hold on, let me think about this before I do anything else. Okay, let me think. I need this, this, and this. Drag it this way. It's kind of hard to tell like where it's going. I feel like it goes about here. And it almost comes in this way. All right, this piece kind of holds up the back of the chair. I think I need a piece here. I don't really know what the back of the chair looks like, so this is going to be kind of tough. Kind of hard to tell here. Yeah, I cannot tell what is happening here. This is a tough one. Okay. I think that's really it. I don't know about the back of the chair, but we'll give these some materials and see what we can make this thing look like. I think it looks cool. Streams are awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, okay, so remember, we're really just going from what we see. Let me look at the proportions. I do think this whole thing up here, yeah, this is, it needs to come down a little bit. I think that looks better. All right, let's go ahead and light this thing. Let's give it some light. And let's give it some materials as well. We're going to choose GPU. We're going to go ahead and give it an HDRI. And Blender's going to freeze. Bro, Blender, you are actually embarrassing me, bro. All right, restarting Blender. There we go. Much better. All right, let's get an environment texture on there, courtesy of polyhaven.com. Thank you so much, polyhaven.com. We really appreciate your service. Tab into edit mode. You know the drill. Scale this bad boy up. I'll give it a nice little stage here. Let's get a camera. All right, let me do this. Okay, neutral color, high roughness. All right, here's the plan. I'm going to take my HDRI. I'm going to do 0.2 for the lighting. I'm going to get an area light in here. Now for the area light, let's see. Give this a little bit more intensity here. I'm going to make the area light a circular light with a power of maybe 50. Lower, slightly lower spread. A little bit more of like dramatic lighting here, but like something where like maybe we can set up the camera on a slight angle here. Beautiful. And let's go ahead and drop in some materials courtesy of none other than Blender. All right, so what I'm thinking for the first part of this is we'll probably, we're gonna need the reference image, of course, which is right here. All right, here's the materials. We have wood, so let's go to our asset browser. Oh, what do we got? What do we got? Plywood. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. We're going to need to unwrap this bad boy. We're going to have to eventually... Darn, we're going to have to, like, convert this to mesh and stuff. Oh, man, I really don't... I don't know. This is scary because now I have to, like... have to unwrap everything. I'm kind of scared to do that. Either way, these all need the same material, so let's just link the materials. This needs the same material, so let's link it. These might not need to be unwrapped. Let's try it without unwrapping and then see what we can do. For these ones, I think I'm going to choose a, let's see, not a knitted fabric. We'll try denim and see what that looks like. Yeah, we're going to need to unwrap these. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Knitted mesh linen. Let me see what linen looks like. Linen doesn't look terrible. Can't really see if this is even working at all. Oh, there it is. Okay. It is working. There it is. Beautiful. Why aren't these materials showing up? There we go. I mean, that's basically it, but the only thing is we're going to need to unwrap because the corners and stuff just, like, aren't looking correct. You know what? Ugh, I don't like having, like, go back on my work, but it's fine. Tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to move it to a collection. I'm going to select objects, Shift D to duplicate, move them to a new collection, say whatever. This will be the backup collection. Okay. Now this collection, select objects, convert to mesh. No. Convert to mesh. 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 All right, I think we're good. Let's try it. Now let's do this. Let's go to tab. Let's press A. Let's do UV, smart UV project. And we are in business, ladies and gentlemen. UV, smart UV project. Okay. UV, smart UV project. Better. See how much better it is? Smart UV project. Okay. UV project. Okay. That sounds like my baby. All right, it's looking decent. I think give it a little bit of sheen. It's not looking terrible, honestly. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second. Thank you. I didn't realize my voice wasn't working. What I had to say is I do have to hop off the live stream, guys. Sorry about that. What I wanted to say is I think we did a fantastic job. I feel like we really nailed the model. I think it looks really good. There's probably a few small improvements, of course, with like the materials. They're looking a little bit funky, but that's some stuff that we could look into at some point. But I do have to hop offline. I think we did a great job. And honestly, looking at this side by side, I'm like, wow, I almost matched the angle too. So that's nice. But guys, thank you so much. Have a great day. I promise we will do this again. And like I said, if you haven't already checked this out, I do want to go ahead and quickly shout out one last time at the end of the live stream. If you guys could, for me, at least check this out. If you don't want to buy an individual, or if you don't want to buy the whole thing, you can buy individual courses. You are basically going to learn everything from start to finish in our core fundamentals of Blender. Please check this out. It is by far one of the best resources I can possibly recommend. And not to mention, I happen to teach the physics in Blender. So if you want to check that out, please do. It was a great live stream. Thank you guys so much for your time. Have a great day, and we will see you